Everyone. Thank you very much for coming today. So you've come to the session where we're going to be talking about all things student accommodation. So our student accommodation at ACU is called the ACU Living and Learning Communities. And this name is quite purposeful because our student accommodation isn't just a place to live, it's also a community where you'll be living and learning. So that's where that title comes from. All right, so in moving through, so our living and learning communities have been developed with a specific focus to ensure that our residential students get the best and the most out of their time studying with ACU and living on residence. So we make sure that our accommodation options are safe and clean and affordable, as well as promotes study patterns within our students so that they get the best marks possible. And we have looked at this in the past to see if our residential students do better than non-residential students, and we found that they actually do. So our residential students pass by a mark just over 13% higher than non-residential students in their first year of study. So we must be doing something right. So you'll get to experience the full community living when you come and live with in one of our communities. And our residential communities are based on trying to make sure that you get a full range of experiences. So we deliver programs in five different key areas, which are academic, social, spiritual, cultural, and community. So we always try to make sure that there's something for everyone within our programs. Okay, so who are we? So our living and learning communities model is based on a model of success where we have all of the different aspects of the support mechanisms that ACU have to offer, and we make sure that they're available to our students on res. So often we'll have people from the academic skills area of the university, or the counselling area, or campus ministry, or health, sport and wellbeing come to residents and deliver programs and events, usually involving free food. Don't worry, we know the way to your heart. But also delivering great and fun interactive events where you can get that little bit extra support from those people within the university that provide those specialised areas of support. There's also plenty of leadership opportunities for our residents. So we have paid positions, and they're called residential advisors, and they're leaders within the community. And so they are employed by ACU and by our team to assist in the management and support of our residents while they're in-house. So they're well sought after jobs, and they look fantastic on your resume. So we do try to support people who are looking to move into those roles with training that they might need to be able to best nab those positions. And we also try to make sure that we have an environment where we really do reflect the community that we have each year. So every year our cohorts change a little bit with their interests and what they're into. So we try to make sure that the offering that we have that year is reflecting the students that we have in-house that year. And we do that by having the RA team, the residential advisor team, polling and doing surveys with the in-house residents to make sure that the programs we're delivering are what they want, or if there's something that we're not delivering that they would want, we definitely try to bring that into our program. So you can be sure that we'll have things that you'll be interested in. Another service that we've delivered this year is a rental advisory service. So there's a lot of different student accommodation options that you can choose. So you can choose ACU student accommodation, and we've got our own options in Sydney, Canberra, and in Ballarat. In Brisbane and Melbourne, we also offer an experience through Igloo Student Accommodation, and we also have relationships with other residential colleges in those states as well. But if you were to choose a rental option outside of one of these options that we have on the website, you could also go into rental accommodation, and if you needed support with those choices and decisions, we can help you through that service. So we can help you with making sure that you can identify the legitimate sources of information in terms of rental. But I'll go into that a little bit later in the presentation. Okay, so here's where I talk to you a little bit more about that residential life program. So you can see this is a photo from one of our events in Sydney. So you can see we do get people from all around the world, as well as local students and also regional students. We're very lucky to have a great mix of students, and you can see free food is always a great way to bring students together. They absolutely love it. So this, as you can see, was a social event that we held, but we do have events across a wide range of different topics to make sure that there's always something on for everybody. The events run across academic support, health, sport and wellbeing, spirituality, internationalisation, if I could say that word, that would be wonderful, cultural and community, as well as just straight social events. So it depends on which time of the year we're running all the different types of events. So as you can imagine, prior to semester starting, we might run more social events than we would when it's sort of leading up into exam time or assessment periods and that sort of thing, where we run more academic skill type events and study sessions and that sort of thing. So we do also fit that residential life program around the academic year, and we try to design it so that we're delivering events that will assist you best to get the most out of your university experience throughout the semester and throughout the academic year. And as I said to you before, the proof is in the pudding, and we have seen that our residential students do pass by greater marks than non-residential students. Okay. Now, I did speak about these guys a little bit earlier. There's Izzy. She was on our team a couple of years ago, always wore that smile everywhere she went. And that's what made her one of our best residential advisors. But every year we have about 5 or 6 residential advisors in each setting, and they're always a great part of our team. We like to choose residential advisors who are already big parts of our community within our residences. And who also take a great interest and have a lot of empathy for their fellow students. And they get a lot out of the experience. They get to plan and deliver their events based on either their personal interests or what they believe the community might be interested in. So you can see that those photos there were from when Izzy took her residents with her to see the Sculptures by the Sea here in Sydney a couple of years ago. But we do lots of things, and so they can be either in-house and they can be as easy as a tea and coffee night. Our tea and coffee nights get a lot of students down because they're really low key, and it's just a really great way that other students can sort of interact with each other and build friendships and that sort of thing, or to like these more extravagant events where they're going off to view something or do something within the city that they're living in. Okay, so now, as I was saying before, we've got residences across Australia, in every city where we've got a campus. So the ACU run accommodation, you can see there is Miguel Cordero residence in Sydney, Camillus residence in Ballarat, and then we've got managed residential in Ballarat and Canberra. as well as the Igloo student accommodation properties in Brisbane and Melbourne. So now I'm going to talk you through each one individually. So Miguel Cordero Residence is in Sydney. It's in Camperdown in Sydney, and it's situated between our two campuses in Sydney. We've got our campus in North Sydney and then another campus in Strathfield, where I happen to be today. And this is in Camperdown. So if you know Sydney, you'll know that it's about a half an hour to 40-minute commute in between the two campuses. It'll also be a good one to service our new Blacktown campus as well, because it is very close to all the travel hubs in Newtown and from the Parramatta Road. So Miguel Cordero Residence is made up of 152 beds across a few different types of accommodation. So you can choose either a studio, or we also have accessible studios for people who might be utilising a wheelchair. And we also have multi-share apartments with 4 or 5 bedrooms. How the multi-share apartments work is that you have your own private bedroom that locks to the rest of the apartment, and it's fully furnished. It's got a king single bed and all the built-in furniture, as well as a desk and a chair and a lamp and all that sort of thing. So you can nest in there and make it your very own, and then you share the rest of the apartment with your housemates. And there's 2 bathrooms to share between you, and there's a large kitchen area and a dining and a lounge room area. So that's how the multi-share apartments work. The studios are self-contained, as you can imagine, where you get your own private bathroom and you have a kitchenette with a full-sized fridge and everything you need to really spread your wings and make that your very own little home. We usually recommend for first-year students that they go into multi-share because that's just a really great way to make friends and build community from the very start of your semester. But there are some students who have possibly been in boarding or might have lots of brothers and sisters, and they're just dying to get out of those of that environment and come in and have their own space. So we definitely do allow the student and their family to choose what you think would be best for you. All the apartments are fully furnished, as I was saying. All you need to do is bring your bedding and your crockery, and then you're ready to go. The common spaces that we have in Miguel Cordero are vast. There's a lot to choose from. So we have a private study rooms, as well as a fully stocked library, student lounge, a games area, and a barbecue terrace. And we've also had a new addition. So between now and next year, we're also going to be building a fully stocked gym facility on site for our residents, and that will be free for residents to use. And so these are the prices for next year. So how this works is that these are the weekly prices, and they're all inclusive. So when you look at these prices, you'll note that they are fully inclusive of Wi-Fi, as well as all of those programs that we were talking about earlier, and all your utilities, your gas, your hot water, your electricity are all included in these prices, as well as having 24-hour access to staff, support, and all the facilities that we have on offer. If you have any questions about any of these prices, you can always contact us at studentaccom.nsw@acu.edu.au, but after the session we'll be putting up all of the email addresses for each of the sites. So now I'm going to go on to Canberra. So Canberra is a managed residential model where we let houses directly from landlords, and we fully kit them out with everything that you need to walk in and get started for your semester. These houses have more inclusions in terms of what we put into these houses than we do in, say, the Sydney property. And so they also come with crockery and cutlery and that sort of thing. So in this model, all you need to do is bring your bedding and your clothes and your books, and you're ready to roll. We also have a leader within this community who will organise events. They sometimes happen within the houses and then sometimes in Canberra as well as on campus. So you still get that same experience, but in a more independent sort of setting. The students of Canberra really love the houses that we have for them, and they really do build great bonds. And so in Canberra in particular, we often have students who will stay with us for the full length of their degree because they really just do love this model. It's also, again, there's full security with the property, and it's a house. So you do share all the same facilities in the house and a fully stocked kitchen. So here you can see the prices for next year. And again, they are fully inclusive prices. We only have one ensuite room. So it's first in, best dressed, guys. So if you're after that one, let us know. So you can email us for questions about this property to studentaccom.acu.edu.au. But again, we'll be popping those emails up after the session. And now we'll go into Igloo, Melbourne City and South Yarra. So Igloo is our partner for accommodation in Melbourne and in Brisbane. There's two options for accommodation in Melbourne, one in Melbourne City and one in South Yarra. So the Melbourne City option is quite close to campus. It's there's a short walk plus a little tram ride to get over between the property, which is right opposite the Queen Victoria Markets, to get to campus in Fitzroy. Or you have the option of going to South Yarra, which is a little bit further away. Brand new property, it's only just opened, and it's also a little bit cheaper. The other benefit of booking with Igloo as an ACU student is that we have preferential pricing for our ACU students. So if you were to go onto the ACU student accommodation website and click on Melbourne and look at Igloo properties through our website, where there's a little portal that will take you onto their website, if you do it that way, you'll be able to access these cheaper prices as well as more inclusions. So they'll also include linen packs and other inclusions that other students wouldn't be getting. And then we'll go on to look at the next property for Igloo, which is Igloo Brisbane. This is in the heart of Brisbane and services our Brisbane campus. It's about a half-hour, 40-minute travel time to our beautiful Banyo campus from Brisbane City. Brisbane City is where most student accommodation in Brisbane is located, and this property in particular is only a very short walk to the train station. I've done the trip myself a couple of times, and it is a really easy commute. I've tested it for you. But again, with Igloo Brisbane, it's the same as I was just saying for Igloo Melbourne and South Yarra, in that you get those preferential pricing as well as those added inclusions for being an ACU student. They also do offer the same type of residential life program that I was discussing for the ACU sites. And this is why we chose to go with Igloo as our partner in accommodation, because they really do align very well with how we like to deliver student accommodation as a more holistic, supportive approach to your residential years. You'll find that the staff there are very approachable, as are ours. And if you ever have any inquiries that they can't help you with, you can also come to our team and we will help you. So the next slide shows some of the pricing. So this is the 2020 pricing. They will be able to supply you 2021 pricing very shortly. And again, as I said, it will be exclusive to ACU students. So as soon as that's available, we can provide it to you, or you can get it through that link that will be coming through our website. But you can see here all the inclusions. So if you were to be flying to any of these properties as an ACU student, you would be able to access complimentary airport pickup. unlimited internet, as I was telling you, that free linen pack, and then all the other inclusions that we've spoken about. So they are a great team to work with. Okay, so now I want to just quickly touch on the rental advisory service. So this service is available to all students of ACU, no matter which type of accommodation you want to choose. So with this service, we can talk you through the different options. You can find this service by going onto our website. So if you Google search ACU student accommodation, you'll come onto our main parent page, and on that page it'll have lots of different options for you to choose from to get the information that you specifically need. But if you want to ask broad questions about student accommodation, rental agreements, homestay versus purpose-built student accommodation, colleges versus university accommodation, this is the service that you want to connect with, because we will talk you through all of those options. Also on the other side, if you do sign an agreement with a certain provider and you want to ask questions or you're confused about something, again, we can help you with that. So at any stage of your renting journey, this service will be there to help you. And it's always a good idea, especially if you're an interstate student or you're moving from a rural, regional, remote area into a new location. I really do suggest that you do contact the rental advisory first, because there might be information that we can provide you to take the pain out of this process for much later on. You might be able to. We're also keeping our eye on any government schemes that are coming into place. There is a new one called the Tertiary Access Payment, which regional students might be able to access for 2021. So we're really trying to stay across all the different benefits that we can help you with accessing in terms of relocation. So this is a really good service to hook into, and myself and my team manage this service. So we'd love to be able to chat with you about your accommodation needs for 2021. Okay, so now we can open up the floor to any questions. Have we had any questions?
Simone, we haven't had any come through yet. I think everyone's a wee bit shy out there. So perhaps you could cover some of the more common questions that people would ask you about student accommodation.
Yes, of course. I want to go into first, like the question that people usually ask is usually around costs and pricing and how all that works. So in terms of how it works, just very briefly, and I did go into it in the presentation, the costs are all inclusive when you're talking about colleges and university run accommodation, as well as purpose-built student accommodation. So when you're looking at those prices, they are all inclusive prices. And so lots of students will be looking at the price of those kinds of accommodation and comparing it to rental prices that they see in the market, and they'll say, oh, it's a lot more expensive to go to student accommodation than it is to privately rent. But what I would like to ask students and families to do is to really think about, you know, if it's going to cost X amount for just the room, then how much on top of that is it going to cost for transport to and from there to the university or the campus? How much is it going to cost for internet, electricity, hot water, gas, and all those utilities, and also all the furniture and fittings that you would have to purchase to start your lease off within that property. So that's where kind of all those extra hidden costs are not so hidden when you're talking about student accommodation rental prices. So that's one of the most common questions. Another question that we're having at the moment is, of course, COVID related. And a lot of students and their families are saying, you know, why would I go into student accommodation? Why would I relocate to that city when there's a huge possibility that COVID still might affect the campus and the delivery style in 2021? And my answer to that is that it's a very personal choice for the student and the family to make about what experience you want to get out of 2021 and your first year of study. We've lived through 8 months of COVID in 2020, and we've been here to support our students throughout, and none of our accommodation options have closed through that period, and we've remained in support with our students face to face throughout. And what we found is that our students have, even though the experience that they signed up for was very different to what they thought they were getting, they've grown so much through the experience. They're so much more resilient now than they were at the beginning of the year. They've shown huge amounts of empathy for their peers, as well as for us and for each other. And they've also learned to really roll with the punches. They've really learned to be flexible and be adaptable. So I think it's a very personal question. But from me, I've just seen the benefit of our students who've remained in accommodation throughout 2020 and who've really gotten a lot out of the experience, even though it has at times been difficult, as it's been difficult for everybody. I can still see that there are benefits to relocating to your city to enjoy and get involved in your campus as much or as little as you can based on their health guidelines. So I'm very, very happy to have presented this to you today. We'd love to remain in contact with all of our students and anyone who has a question about accommodation. No question is too small. Deciding where you're going to live is a really important and very personal choice for you, and we understand that. So we're here to help. We will put up a load of all of our email addresses nationally for you to access. But if you don't get a chance to see that link, the best way to connect with either myself or my team would be by Googling ACU Student Accommodation, which will get you to our student accommodation web page. And you'll then be able to choose which state you're going to be studying in. And through that page, you'll be able to contact myself or my team either by using an inquiry form or emailing us directly. And we're very, very open to assisting students no matter which type of accommodation they decide that they want to go into. And we have, because we've opened up this rental advisory service, we're even more better equipped than we were this time last year in all the different schemes and payments and Centrelink payments that are out there for students in order to assist through this time. So we really look forward to connecting with you one-on-one. We'll be running this session every week for the next 2 weeks. And we've also got Zoom chats that you can join us on this afternoon and for the next 2 weeks on each Saturday that ACU are running its open days. And we really can't wait to connect with you.
Hi, Simone. We've got about a minute left.
Oh, fantastic.
And it would be wonderful. No questions have come through, but could you talk just very briefly about the social aspect? Because that's so important to students, particularly if they're out of town and come into accommodation.
Oh, definitely. Well, what we do with our student accommodation through that residential life program is that we do have these structured events that happen, and they're quite frequent. Through COVID, we've had a lot of events on Zoom. We've had pizza parties where we've sent pizza to each one of our addresses, and then they've all waited to open the box together until they've all signed on to Zoom together, and then they've all taken the big photo with them and their pieces of pizza, and well, they've had a big giggle about those. But yeah, the face-to-face events are fantastic as well that we do host as well. And through COVID, we've learned to also be quite flexible and to utilise